Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Middle-Aged Mum Rants. Today I want to discuss something that is very important, something that is quite difficult to talk about, but I feel it's about time I said something. I was raised by a narcissist. As hard as it is to come to accept that. Oh, I'm going to be smoking while we're talking. But I was raised by a narcissist. In some ways, I've turned out to be the person I am in spite of her. But some of my idiosyncrasies are very much compelled in me because of her. Part of being a narcissist is being incredibly self-absorbed and only seeing your perspective and how things affect you as an individual. Never being able to see how your behaviours and decision-making processes have affected and been very much a stepping up point for other people around you. There are some negative connotations to it. I've been brought up to believe that anything that upsets or offends her is my fault. Even if it's things that I couldn't possibly be at fault for, I've learned that it's my place in life to take the blame. Whether that's by her or other people that she's roped into believing her ideas on what I am and what I'm supposed to have done. It's made me an apologetic adult. It's made me self-convictional on things that are not mine to own. But it's also made me not want to be the same with my daughter. So whenever I'm working out a way to approach a situation with my daughter, I evaluate how I know my mum would probably deal with it, and I do the exact opposite. Which in a way is heartbreaking. We know where we've been and we know where we want to go, and sometimes never the twain shall meet. It's probably why I go so hard about Cody Brown on Sister Wives, because he is a narcissist. And although my mother wasn't married to copious amounts of other people at the same time, her decisions are always inward looking. And everything is consumed by that need that she has to be the first thought on everybody's mind and the last one to leave it. I try and be empathetic with people. I try and find reasons to keep in my head in contact with the human side of everyone, because we all make mistakes. We're all fundamentally flawed, and we're all capable of making things difficult on ourselves, either through ignorance or poor decision making. But I can honestly say at least 7 out of 10 times with the decisions that my mum makes, it's intentional. She does not care what the outcome is. And if she does care, she has a very awful way of showing it. She won't have it said that there is anything wrong with her mental health whatsoever. And the problem always is and always has been us, her offspring. The games that have been played over the years are so cruel. And each one designed to keep us buying to be in her good books. To the point of us having hard lives. Unnecessarily hard lives. We all second guess every feeling that goes through our brain to work out whether that is truly how we feel or whether it's how we feel we ought to feel, because we know that that's what she would want. To top it all off, she is extremely hypochondriac. She is extremely always looking for sympathy by over elaborating illnesses, inventing illnesses in herself, all with the design to make you pity her, for her to seem frail, needy, and in a lot of times as a punishment to us kids as though we neglect her. But it's like throwing coins in a void. No matter how much you give somebody like that, it's never going to be enough, ever. Even when you are spent out, exhausted, you're tired beyond all and everything, things in your own life are going, sideways. Things in your own life are challenging and all-consuming, but you still have to make them your focus, your top priority. And if you don't, you best be aware that there is a storm coming for you. Those odds are not easy to deal with on a day-to-day level, and it has, time and time again, completely destroyed my mental health over the years. I equally have done things that have destroyed my mental health, and I own those. I do, because I know how important being accountable is in this world. But you're brought up to believe that your permanent placement is in the wrong. All the time. And that no matter what road you choose to go down, it will be the wrong one. Unless it's the one that she says you should travel on. You're wrong. You are so wrong. We were brought up to apologise for things we didn't even know. And everyone's like, yeah, but your poor mum, she does her best. She was a single mum and she made mistakes. Yeah, we get that. We are all human. But how can you be human with somebody that can't even be wrong once and keep it that way? If she's ever apologised for something, it's been changed later and somehow moulded and sculpted into it being your fault. It's almost like she dips her toe in accountability, realises the water's far too cold and shoves someone in full on shove someone else in there. I spent 48 years of everything being my fault, even things that couldn't possibly have been. And I've had enough of that. Today I'm sitting here not to hurt her, but to put the world on notice. I will never again be sorry if something is not my fault. I'm going to reject that straight out of hand. Because I know I'm somebody that can hold my hand up if I am in the wrong. In fact, I put a lot of importance on that. It's a very important thing to me. I'm all for people being allowed to make mistakes and then deal with how they've learnt from it. But I am anti making space for someone to come in and tell me my truth is not real, because they've been writing the new abridged version, their new version of it. I can't do that anymore. I've spent the last 3 weeks mentally unwell. As a result of accusations that were made against me that I just haven't done. I haven't done them. In fact, I'd done the complete opposite of what I've been accused of. And I've been thrown away for the sake of her wanting to cover her backside for the very last time. Because this time she influenced somebody else that I loved very much to throw me away too. On her say-so. And this is someone else that I've done nothing to, except try and help and be there. But so easily the worst was thought of me, and it has hurt me beyond repair. I can't keep doing this, and I won't. Anyone that's prepared to believe the very worst things about somebody without deciding for themselves or even asking questions, as far as I'm concerned, has already made up their mind. And I have no energy to change people's minds. My husband took my mother shopping every week. As an adult, I don't take presents off my mum, not even on my birthday or at Christmas, for fear that later on I will be accused of getting it by bad ways. So I just don't accept it. I never have done. I was my mum's next of kin. I took that role very seriously, trying to be there for her. She'd be on the phone to me sometimes twice a day for 3 hours at a time, telling me exactly the same things that she'd told me the day before. But it was important to me that she felt heard. Then I noticed that she was accusing people around her of stealing from her, even down to the lady that visits her every week and stays with her. She was accusing her of being the one that stole from her, accusing her of taking mobile phones and gifts that we had bought my mother. Turns out nothing was ever taken from our home. It's all very much still there, but just hidden away so no one else can find it. And it was only by happenstance that somebody found them, a drawer full of brand new mobile phones that we have all pitched together to buy her over the years, that within a week or 2 weeks she claims has been stolen, but they were there. And last year I was dealing with breast cancer, and thankfully that's over and done with now. Hopefully indefinitely, but you just don't know, do you? I couldn't visit her straight away after finishing radiation therapy because I was told I was immune suppressant and she'd been in hospital. But the day they gave me the all clear and said that I could probably go and visit her, I went to visit her. Didn't even ask me how I was at all. Started accusing my brother of all sorts of horrible things, that he'd stolen from her, that he'd done all these different things, and accusing my brother of trying to gain access to my sister's bank account, which would never happen in a million years. One, because my brother's not like that. And two, because my sister is in a care facility and everything is protected and double protected. But I was horrified on the fact that she was so blasé and openly accusing my brother of something it wouldn't be in his heart to do. That day she also just said to me, "You do know you're adopted?" I'm not, but she said, "You do know you're adopted, right? But I still love you the same as the others." I'm like, I'm not adopted, though. Yeah, you are. But I still love you the same. And then I was ordered to go out and get a nurse in. And she sat there berating all the nurses for at least 30 minutes. This is how she chose to spend my visit with her. Berating nurses that were doing their utmost to take care of her. This went on 8 months of her being in and out of the hospital. The day that she gets home from hospital, she ends up being readmitted. The same day. This happened 4 occasions, one after the other. I hear her saying to the nurses that she wants to go home. She gets home and then she starts to say they discharged me without it being the right thing to do. And saying that she's noticed nurses stealing tablets and beating up patients, and none of it is true. And then one day she just, out of the blue, she's at home, she tells me that she'd taken an overdose. I panic. Of course I panicked. She's my mother after all. I say to her, "What have you taken?" She tells me very strong pain medication. So that means the urgency level is now first and foremost in my mind. I ring up an ambulance to attend her address, because all she wants to do on the phone with me is argue and keep slamming the phone down. I ring the ambulance. I ask them to inform me, as I was her next of kin, what happens when they get there. I want to know how she is. I want to know she is safe. I want to know. I sit up all night waiting for a response. I get none. No one gets back to me. The next morning, I ring the hospital to be told that she was discharged the night before and that she had forbidden them to give me any information whatsoever. I'd stayed up all night, scared out of my wits that she was in a bad way. And she forbid them to do what they're supposed to do, which is inform me of how she is. She finally rings me at 7 o'clock in the evening, starts an argument with me, calls me all the uncaring, unfeeling daughters in the world, and I'm to leave her alone and never speak to her again, and that there's only one person that's ever there for her, and it's none of us. Turns out she meant the friend that she'd secretly been telling me had been stealing off her, but the girl hasn't been stealing off her at all. We get nothing but phone calls berating me to the point I couldn't stand it anymore. I told her to leave me alone. I refused to speak to her for 4 days, and then she rang me and she sounded sorry. She did. And I said, right, can we talk about this? And in the future, can we set something up so that it doesn't get to this point again? Because I'm not sleeping properly, Mum. I'm not well. And all this is messing with my head. To be told, it's not about me. I'm supposed to care about her and only her. She kicks off at me again and then ends up putting the phone down on me, accusing me of starting trouble with her and playing games with her head. And this is how it has been ever since. It's now a good 6 months of intentional ringing me up and accusing me of things that I haven't done, I would never do. While she was in hospital, she was complaining of tummy pain, and they did a scan of her stomach. And somehow she had swallowed her wedding rings, 2 of them. They did a thing the next day. They put her under anaesthetic and removed these wedding rings. When the doctor told me that that's what they'd done, I was shocked beyond all belief that somebody could swallow them and not choke. And full of wonder at why somebody would do something like that anyway. She tried to tell me that her friend had put them in her mashed potato and that she must have just not known and swallowed them. Well, imagine my surprise when 8 weeks ago I find out her story had changed somewhat. And she's now telling people that I abused her and I force-fed her the mashed potato that had these rings in it. that I'd been playing mental games with her head, that I've been stealing off her. I've never taken anything from her, ever. And she's convinced my vulnerable little sister of the same. So not only have I now lost the relationship with Mum, which it wasn't a real one in the end anyway, but she's now caused my sister to throw me away as well. A sister that I've spent the last 12 months doing all the liaising with because Mum was in hospital. I'd ring Mum and I'd ask her what she wanted me to ask my sister. I'd ring my sister and talk to her and tell her about how Mum was doing. And then I'd let Mum know that she was okay. I now have neither of them. This time last year, I was just starting radiotherapy. This time last year. I've had to listen as my mum pretended that she'd had 6 breaks in her spine, that she'd broken her hip both sides instead of one, had to go to the hospital left and right to actually find out what's going on with her. And whenever I couldn't go, my husband would. And I have now reached an exhaustion point. She's convinced people that do the caring in her home that I'm guilty of doing these things, and I have not done. It's been a lifetime of being thrown under the bus at her earliest convenience. And I'm putting the world on notice I am not doing this anymore. The only thing I would ever have accepted from my mum would have been respect and love. And she can't give me either. So why am I trying? What's the point? And I love my sister dearly. But she believes the worst of me so easily. That hurts. That really hurts. I would have given her the moon on a plate if it made her happy. And I've had it with them. Just had it with them. I love them, I'll always love them, but I'm left with nowhere to go with this. It's difficult to sleep. It's difficult to be happy. And I've watched them say things about my brother that are just not true. And he's been struggling with his mental health now for about a year, solidly, as a result of what he's been put through by my mother. And I'm telling the world, my brother and his husband, they're good people. My brother Christopher is the best big brother in the world. I'm telling the world this. He deserved better than what he's been dealt. So I'm saying to people, if you've got someone, you hold them close. If they're good to you, you love them. You respect them for what they do and appreciate them. Yeah.